All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. This is a very special training. This is the Parliamentary Procedure Training, and we are so thrilled to have Rick Sydor here with us. To give a little bit background on Rick, he joined Toastmasters in 1973 with the Mohawk Club in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. He served as District 42 Governor in 1981 to 1982 and served as International Director from Region 1 in 1996 to 1998. Rick joined the American Institute of Parliamentarians in 1980 and the National Association of Parliamentarians in 2001, earning his Registered Parliamentarian credential in 2009. Since 2021, when he was asked to serve as the District 32 Parliamentarian, he has enjoyed serving Toastmasters as Parliamentarian in the Seattle area and now here for the Greater New District 2. So tonight, he plans to share with you some important information to help you better participate at district meetings with his presentation entitled, Ignorance is No Excuse. And now I'm going to turn it over to Rick. Thank you so much, Rick.
Why, thank you, Madam Director, and good evening, everyone. Hopefully you'll gain something from this for this hour, and please feel free to interrupt with questions as I go along. We'll probably share more than you expected, but hey, that's what learning is all about. And as Anu said, I'm calling this Ignorance is No Excuse. And we're looking at this. You are the representative for your club who's attending a district council meeting, and how can you participate with proper rules of engagement? So what are the things you have to know before you come to a district council meeting to participate with these? Well, Robert's rules, and you can read faster than I can speak, this is what they call the rules that we are following. And when you see the 2.1, that is the actual quote from Robert's Rules of Order. This schematic is in the American Institute of Parliamentarians book, and ran into an interesting situation at a meeting the other day. The person thought that the rules of order run the meeting. Well, in a way they do, but everything else above it comes first. If there's any federal or state law where you live, that takes precedence. Your organization, we'll look at Toastmasters, but your organization, charter, constitution, bylaws, any special standing rules of order, and for Toastmasters, it's their policy and protocols, any temporary rules, all that is before we actually get into Robert. And then your district may have a special custom in your, I believe British Columbia recognizes the native people and the indigenous people, I should be saying. So that, just keep this schematic in mind as we go through. Toastmasters. This is the Toastmaster website, and the governing documents of Toastmasters is available on the website. And one of the questions I was asked to answer, what is the difference between now and 50 years ago? Well, this was not physically available 50 years ago. You had no idea what the board of directors was doing. You had no idea of their minutes. You had no idea of the Toastmasters documents unless you were an international director on the board. So when I ran for director, this was not available for me. When you click on governing documents, this is the next page you will see, and the resources are listed here on the right-hand side of the page. And we'll quickly show you what the resources are that you can go. You don't even have to log in to get at this. So if you click on, and there's the board minutes. So when you try and get to board minutes, this is what it looks like, and this is what is available at the moment. So they're a couple months behind on posting board minutes, and I always encourage Toastmasters members, even especially executive people, to read the board minutes. It tells you what the board is doing and how they're shaping your future. The articles of incorporation, this is what it looks like, and you click on those blue items and it'll take you further and give you more information. The bylaws, as you can see, there's 14 areas of the bylaws, and they directly affect what the district council does and how your club operates. The district administrative bylaws, and again, you can see so many things are there that come before Robert's Rules of Order. And we will get into Robert's Rules in a few minutes. The District Council, and this is what Anu is in charge of, and you are members of. Your club is entitled to 2 votes, and you can decide at the club level if the club president's going to show up or the vice president on vacation. You can have 1 vote each, or one can have both. Now, the things that change when your club goes to international to vote, it's the club president and club secretary that have the votes, and it can be split up, assigned to someone else, etc. A little more on the council meeting, and this is what your district director has to do. She has to give notice of the council meeting 4 weeks prior to the date and let you know what is on the agenda prior to the council meeting. And this is sometimes is the hardest thing I have as parliamentarian. Hey, you've got to get this out there for the people so they can have a chance to read it. And once they read it, they may have questions to bring before the council. And this is what constitutes a quorum. And we have some people struggling with this because the district director pleads for you to register. Please register your club for the district council meeting. She didn't say you have to attend. That's the nice part, for you to go and participate. But we need you to register so we have a quorum, so we can have the meeting. Because if you don't have a quorum, you have to do a mailing. Well, now it's electronic, but still, that's just a lot of paperwork and needs that you don't have to do. And here's the voting at the district council meeting, and proxies are no longer permitted. Back in the old days, before it was an electronic meeting, the club can give their proxy to anybody in the club, and they can show up and register at the credentials desk and cast their votes on behalf of the club. Now it must be the club president and or the club educational vice president voting at the district council meeting. Another thing that's part of the resources for international is Constitution. I don't know how many of you presidents or any club members have read this and looked at it. There's a few things that you can make special for your club, the amendments to the club constitution, but here on the bottom, but everything else is the same. It's cookie cutter for all the clubs of Toastmasters International. You can go in and do something with Article 3 of the during your club dues and member fees, but there's very little you can change in the club's constitution. But we're not looking at that tonight. I'm just wanting you to see what's there and be aware of it. Policy and protocol. This is the big part of special rules that Toastmasters have. When you get to this on the governing documents, by clicking on any one of these, it'll take you directly to there, and it gives you information about things specifically. And when I was on the board, it was about half the amount of this that you see there today. But it's something, it's available for you, and That's why I'm saying ignorance is no excuse. It's there. You should have knowledge of it before you attend the district council meeting. Now, what's the difference between policy and protocol? I'll have a slurp of my drink and you can have a look at the difference outlined for you. Moving on, Protocol 7.1 district events. Each district has an opportunity at the beginning of their term to decide if your district council meeting be an online event or hybrid. The district council meeting has to be advertised as part of the district conference. It doesn't have to be part the same dates. It could be a week later or earlier, but it has to be advertised as part of the conference, and it's online or hybrid. And we'll quickly ask you to undo your mic. And what's District 2 doing this year, online or hybrid? You're muted.
We are doing hybrid. Oh,
Okay.
We are doing hybrid.
Okay, so that gives some people a chance to physically be there and or online. I believe District 39, my home district, is doing online. Agenda items for the district council to vote on. Again, you see all the things that your district director has to post in advance of the meeting, and there's a timeline. Again, this is found in your policies and protocols. Important items on the bottom, I highlighted, ask permission to speak. If you're a guest at the district council meeting, you're not a voting delegate. If you have a question, put your hand up and you ask permission to speak. And it's up to the presiding officer, the district director, to determine if they will allow you to speak, depending on what's on the agenda and time constraints. There's some more information about the district council meeting. Again, these are the things that have to be there. So as I prepare the script for the district director, that's part of my checklist to make sure these things are covered and that they are available as part of the agenda for the delegates attending the meeting. Now we get into the fun stuff, why I'm sure most of you came here today. Robert's Rules of Order. That's a picture of Henry Martin Robert, the guy who wrote it in 1876. And we are up to the 12th edition of Robert's Rules of Order. And they've come out with a Robert's Rules in Brief, and there's a third edition there. The 13th edition should be coming out in early 2030. And for somewhere around under $10, you can get a copy of Robert's Rules in Brief. It's an easy read of under 200 pages, large font for us old folks to read it, but it'll help you in understanding the parliamentary procedure that's happening before you. Now, Roberts is not the only thing that's available. You may belong to an organization that uses a different parliamentary authority. In Australia, highlighted in yellow for you, they use Renton's. It's out of print now, but it is a much easier book to use in parliamentary procedure, and World Headquarters bylaws allows different countries to use parliamentary procedure in their language or their country. And I have copies of all the other things. It's an interesting exercise in parliamentary procedure. And one of the questions that was asked of me, how long does it take to learn this stuff? It's a lifetime of learning, because all the books are so different with what they're having the people who use the parliamentary authority do for their organization. Rules of order. And again, you can read faster than I can speak. Again, this is near the bottom of that triangle, and it's telling you why we have rules of order to have our parliamentary session. The special rules of order is the line just above the parliamentary authority, and I interpret this as the Toastmasters policy and protocol. So that is a lot of stuff that happens before we get to Roberts. Here's the cheat sheet on Robert's Rules of Order, and I will put in, when I'm off the screen on the large stuff into chat, a chart of motions, but Robert's Rules, the basic principles is we're doing one thing at a time. And as you follow your chart of motions, it's still one thing at a time. Even if we have a main motion on the floor, somebody makes an amendment, the amendment is the one thing at a time that we are doing. Everyone has the right to speak, usually once per issue, before you can speak a second time. And then again, you may not be able to speak a second time should the presiding officer say, no, we have to move on. Your typical agenda. You call to order. Toastmasters encourages the district mission to be read to know why we are gathered. You adopt the agenda. You approve the minutes. You have reports. You have unfinished business, new business, announcements, and adjournment. Now, some districts have a special rule that you must submit an item of new business so many days before the district meeting. Again, that's up to the district how they want to operate. I believe in District 2, you could put a motion on the floor and catch the district director unaware, which is not fair to her, but again, it is admissible. And how do you make a motion? This is where I'm sure why many people came this evening. The first thing is you have to be recognized by the presiding officer. And if there's two people with their hands up, it's up to the presiding officer to choose, as fairly as possible, who will speak first. Once you're recognized by the presiding officer, the delegate says, I move that. Please don't say I would like to or I so move. I move that. State your motion as clearly, succinctly as possible. And if you really want to get it on the floor, you can have somebody in your team say second. And you do not have to be in favor of the motion to second it. You just may want to get it on the floor and defeat it. But that's how you get things on the floor. So again, I move that. And please don't give the discussion of why you want to make a motion before you make the motion. As presiding officer, I would tug on presiding officer's shirt sleeve and say, hey, that's discussion. Let's get a motion on the floor. So it's moved, it's seconded. The chair has to restate the motion. And a neat trick that you may want to use, Madam Director, is you ask your secretary, please read the motion that you have recorded. And that way it is recorded the way hopefully the person who made the motion wants. And for verification, you can turn to the person. Is that the way you wish the motion recorded? Once that happens, discussion occurs, and usually the person who makes the motion is the first person given the opportunity to speak. You don't have to, you can pass on it, but you're trying to get your reason why you want the motion made and passed. Part of the standing rules is you have a time limit. Could be a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Robert says 10 minutes. But you can imagine how long meetings would go if each person who's going to speak on the motion spoke for 10 minutes. So again, plan your words carefully, and the chair should be able to choose pro and con. So in the old days, at a district council meeting, you'd have two microphones. All those in favor stand in one behind one mic, and those opposed behind another. And you'd have the director going back and forth between pro and con. When everybody has had a chance to speak, then you call for the vote. And Madam Director and participants, delegates, please do not repeat what somebody else has said, because we've heard that already. Come up with something new and different to add to the argument, whether you're for or against. Once all discussion is over, or the time limit set aside for a motion, which may be 15 minutes of new business, then the chair calls for the vote. If it's in person, be it a council meeting or even here on a Zoom meeting, you could have the people say aye, and those opposed say no, not nay. Nay is a horse. Or you can have them put their hands up, and we will get into electronic voting a little later. And when the decision is made, the chair announces the result, saying if the motion has passed or failed, and then the chair instructs whomever to do whatever. Just because you passed the motion, you now have to give directions as to what the group was trying to achieve. Any questions on this, the basics of the motion on the floor? I don't see any hands up, so let's, okay. Common motions and what they do. The main motion proposes a new action. So everything starts with a main motion, and I'll let your imagination run wild of what you want to bring before the district council as a main motion. A main motion is there, and you don't like the wording. Let's say the district is going to buy blue chairs. You don't like the color blue, you want to change it to green. Well, that's an amendment. So you're doing something with the word blue and changing the color. If you feel that we've had enough discussion, a motion is made in parliamentary terms, you're calling the previous question to end discussion. And again, you have to vote on ending discussion if that motion is brought to the floor. You may want to postpone it to a certain time to discuss it later to get information. That's another motion. You may want to refer it to committee, and the committee come back at another time and discuss the motion. You have a point of order, something happened, you feel that there's a rule violation, and that is really a motion, a privileged motion where you stand up, you're recognized by the chair, and you point out the rule violation. You could also be requesting information. Maybe the treasurer said something in the report that has no meaning or understanding to you. You're requesting clarification. You can appeal from the decision of the chair. Our district director has made a ruling, or did she make an opinion? You can appeal a ruling. You cannot appeal an opinion. So that is another thing that is a parliamentary activity. You can have a motion to adjourn the meeting, or we've run out of things to do. Guess what? The chair could say the meeting is adjourned. And the thing you will see between Anu and myself, I'll go like this, and that means if there's no objection, we'll do it. And we'll get into objection in a few minutes. Any question on the common motions? The quick voting guide. You can have a voice vote. And since we are now meeting many times in person, It's the aye or no. You can have a show of hands, even in a small group. For example, at the executive committee meeting, since there's 30 or 40 people that show up, it's easy to ask for a show of hands. You can have a ballot vote for elections or sensitive issues. And one of the things that is your right and privilege as a delegate, you can anytime request a ballot vote. And if the majority agrees with you, guess what? The group has to have a ballot vote. A division of the assembly, if you think that the wrong choice was made, the director has says all those in favor say aye and those opposed say no, and you got a couple people with loud voices, no, you can ask for a division and you vote by a different method. A majority is more than half. It is not 50 plus 1, it's more than half. Two-thirds vote, there's some things that are needed a two-thirds vote to, because you're taking away from the rights of the assembly. Like example, ending debate early, people may still want to debate. So if you put the motion on the floor to limit debate, you'll need a two-thirds vote. And of course, the chair always has the option of voting. They try and remain neutral. They can make or break a tie, and a tie fails the motion. So the chairs, if they're neutral, if they choose, if they don't like it, and it's a valid or counted vote, the chair can make the tie to break it. If it's in a secret ballot, the chair has the right to turn in their ballot along with everyone else. A question was asked about the fall council meeting. Someone said, I came to the meeting to vote and we had no voting. Well, the things that were on the floor really didn't need a vote. And as I say, the five fingers waving in the air, if there's no objection, why vote? And the reason, let's see if it's the next slide. We'll get to it. But if there's no objection, there's something called unanimous consent. You may not be in favor, but you don't think it's worth your effort to say, why are we doing it? It's a waste of my time. So therefore, by allowing unanimous consent, you are saving the step of voting. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to do the vote at the district council meeting with the ballots. And I think it's the next slide. There it is. There's the reason why. There's election runner or election buddy. And every time you use it, at least on the free version, it's costing the district money. So when we have our district council meeting in the spring, when we vote on people who are going to be our leaders next term and or the realignment, where we're putting the clubs into areas, into divisions, yes, we need a vote on that. We certainly can say if there's no objection, the proposal given to us by the realignment committee will stand. But again, look at that, cost you money to run election buddy. And I believe there's, after you get the free version, election runner costs money also. Debate or discussion, either or they have the same meaning for Robert. There's rules for debate, a speech limit. We're not like in Congress where they have filibusters. We have limits as to how long a person can speak and how long that the district wishes to debate a subject. And that could be set at the beginning of the meeting. You want 10 minutes for each item in new business, 15 or 20? That's your decision as the district to decide. Who gets preference and recognition? That's up to the district director. Usually it's the first person to stand up. or the first hand that she sees. I know on Zoom, when you put your hand up, you go to the top corner and they are listed there as per when the hands went up. Back in the old days when we had in-person meetings, I would act as the spotter sitting next to the district governor at the time and say so-and-so had their hand up before someone else. Again, hopefully after that individual first speaks, then you could ask if there's somebody who has an opposing viewpoint, so you go to the pro and con. Please stick to the subject, be germane, and we'll get into a little more of that in the future. Debate the issues, not the personality. So spend time looking at what's on the floor, and this is why the agenda is posted earlier, and usually any items of new business that has come to the attention of the district director is shared, and people can get ready to discuss it. Again, the formalities, and somebody asked, why is it so formal? It gets away from the personalities, and then anybody at any point can take over being the presiding officer, following the formalities at the same end result. A couple of things I found buried in Roberts. Again, before and 330 is in Robert's Rules of Order. And again, you have to be recognized by the chair to legally have the floor. And then your discussion should be to the pending motion. Don't build it up with fluff, because you're just wasting your time with the few short minutes that you have to speak. Accepting committees, the presiding officer does not enter into discussion. Madam Director may have all kinds of opinions, both for or against the motion that's on the floor. She basically has to stand there and allow the audience to participate. This is at the council meeting. I would consider the district executive committee meeting is one where the district director can let her feelings be known. Again, the presiding officer in the bottom should not interrupt the speaker because they know more than the speaker does. Again, a matter of courtesy and allowing the person to share their thoughts and opinions. Again, confine your remarks to the merits of the pending question. That's the word germane. It is found in Roberts. And spend time planning what you want to say. I know sometimes it's difficult, but just consider it a glorified table topics. When you're at the district council meeting and something is sprung upon you that you wish to participate in. One of the things we're going to share with you is you don't like the main motion, you wish to amend it, and there's 6 ways that you can do it. 6 is the killer, because of the procedure that goes into a substitution, but you can insert or add words. You can strike out words. You can strike out and insert the words. You can do the same with paragraphs. And those are the easiest ways for amending a motion. You are allowed to have 2 amendments. You have a primary and a secondary, and then you can work back to the main motion, be it amended or not. Why is it not? Okay. Oh. To determine the germaneness of an amendment, it must in some way involve the same question raised by the motion. And this gets very difficult, and sometimes the parliamentarian has to whisper in the district director's name, I don't think they're really on the subject. Questions were asked about things that you can do in a meeting. You can rise to a point of order. And this is at the end of the script that I prepare for the district director, some parliamentary tips. Somebody could stand and, Madam Director, I rise to a point of order. Rules have been broken. So please state your point of order, and then the chair has to make a decision whether the point of order was in order or not. An example of a point of order is, let's say the agenda is there and the chair, whatever reason, goes from number 3 to number 7. Well, you skipped a few things on the agenda that we all agreed to follow. Madam Director, I rise to a point of order, you missed a few things. And then the director would say, yes, I did. Let's go back and pick up where we should be. You can rise to a parliamentary inquiry. If you do not understand something that's happening, speak up, ask, and the chair can either answer it if it's something easy, or she can say, okay, Rick, it's your turn. Explain why we're doing this. And again, why sit there in the darkness and wondering, and I'm going to go back to what happened at the fall council meeting. Somebody said, why didn't we vote? Well, if you would have asked that as a parliamentary inquiry, I would have been glad to say, well, why vote? It's just taking up time, and there's nobody really objecting to a decision that was made. And the last one is a request for information. And this, in the old days, 10th edition of Roberts was known as a point of information. They tried to make it more understanding of the audience. You're rising for information. Many times people take this as a wrong cue, and they're going to give you all kinds of information because they are the ones that know something about it. No, it's rising for information. It could be, why did the treasurer do so-and-so in the budget report? It could be anything that you are not clear on, that the presiding officer has not made clear, and therefore you want some information. There's so much more to parliamentary procedure. As I say, it's a lifetime of learning. I've enjoyed it for, gosh, I don't know how many years, more than I can count. I do belong to a parliamentary club out of District 1. We meet once a month where people put on presentations. I go to other sessions, and that's all, folks. I will, as soon as there we go, this is what I want. Let me get to the questions that were sent to me by our district director and try and answer them for you. This is not going over the way I want. Oh, gotta stop share. There we go. The questions were put to you as you registered. Provide procedures for discussion and voting. That was slide 29. I hope that made some sense to you, the procedure we go through it. When do you need a formal motion? To have it properly entered into the minutes. That's why you need a formal motion. I like to say to the secretary, if I'm the presiding officer, did you get that recorded? And is the maker of the motion happy with you? What has changed over 50 years? Access to Toastmasters information on the website. Gosh, there's a world of information buried there. And I wondered if we can get some old board of director minutes. And the answer is yes, but you have to ask for it specifically. You have to say, I want the board minutes from whatever special date you want to maybe do some research executive. I said I was going to put in the chat. Let me do that right now. There is a chart of motions that you can refer to for what takes precedence over something else. Main motion is on the bottom, and everything else above it is handled first before you get back to your main motion. I hope I answered point of order correctly on slide 40. Somebody asked how to use them properly in a meeting, and I had no idea what use them means. So that I was baffled on answering that. Somebody asked what the proper procedure for a good meeting. The only thing I can say is remember the chair is right until challenged. If you don't like what the chair is doing, or if you have a question on the procedure, challenge the chair. Request information, request parliamentary procedure. That's Somebody asks what's the best way to correct someone when they unknowingly violate the rules. It's either a point of order, request for information, or parliamentary inquiry. Because what rules are they following that you are not familiar with? How do you control members who talk too much? Well, there's a motion to limit debate. There's nothing wrong with you saying at some point, I move that we change we limit the time for everyone to speak from 2 minutes to 1 minute. And if the assembly agrees with you, guess what? That motion is on the floor and you have limited debate. How long is this class? It's a lifetime. That's what I was kidding with you about parliamentary procedure. What are the top three things for Robert's Rules of Order? For me, it's the agenda. And it's getting it to you on time for you to understand what the district wants to do for the district with their council meeting. So that's why to me, the agenda is important. Someone asked, where have I been hiding? I've been in Roseville, California since 1984. I hope I answered your question with that. And another question, what are the best way to handle elections? And there is one officer position that is contested and the others have only one candidate. So you're going to have a secret ballot for one position, and the director has to ask, are there any other candidates that wish to run for the other positions? You must ask. And if you followed prior district elections, usually it becomes very monotonous when you say you have 9 divisions and only one is challenged and the other 8 are not. And the district director has to read the same thing for each of the division governor positions. But again, it's giving the opportunity for qualified candidates to have their name put forward and contest the election. Again, qualified candidates. And again, read policy and procedures at Toastmasters, and it'll tell you what a qualified candidate is. And with that, Madam Director, are there any other questions from the floor? Let's open it up.
Looking at the chat.
Yeah. A few minutes
feel
left.
free to put in your questions in the chat. Anybody else have questions? It's been super helpful, Rick. I really appreciate your time doing this. I think a lot of people are nodding their heads.
You have your hand up.
I have a question regarding reconsideration of a motion.
Okay.
So I moved for a reconsideration of a motion recently and then was told that it was not going to be reconsidered because action had already been taken. Can you tell me a little bit about what constitutes the action already taken? Because this action that was taken was a simple announcement, and I don't feel that that is an appropriate action to stop a reconsideration.
I'll agree with you on that. Let's look at a good example of reconsideration. At the last meeting, you moved that the treasurer can spend $10 buying whatever. And at the following meeting, you decided that that was a bad decision we made last meeting, but you want to reconsider it. Guess what? The treasurer has spent the money on it already. It's too late.
Correct.
All right. But if the reconsideration happens after you said an announcement, well, then I would challenge the chair.
Correct.
You know, I appeal from the. Is that a ruling or an opinion, Mr. or Madam Chair? Well, it's a ruling. I ruled out. Well, then I appeal from the decision of the chair, and then you go through the appeals process. Have a look at the chart that I sent you. Let me open up mine. There we go. Appeal under point of order. It's an order when somebody else is speaking. You can appeal. It requires a second. So hopefully somebody else agrees with you. And it's debatable, yes. Remember, the chair can be the first and the last to speak on it. The chair can speak twice. You can only speak once, and everybody else gets a chance to speak once also. And it's a majority in the negative is required to reverse the decision, and can it be reconsidered? Yes. So, and that's the guideline, and that is tricky. What the chair was trying to do is be a dictator.
Okay.
I'm in favor of what they moved and passed, and I'm saying no, you can't reconsider. So hopefully this chart will help you, and if you buy that Robert's Rules and Brief, that'll really help you.
So
As I
is there
say,
a place that would outline what is acceptable action?
well, it does in the Robert's Rules and Brief. Well, the big book does it in detail, but Robert's Rules and Brief will certainly help you
That's
with that.
wonderful. Thank you.
Okay,
I
I
appreciate
hope
your
I
help.
helped you with that. Again, you challenged the chair. You didn't like what was happening, and that you're right as a delegate, as a member of that group, to say, hey, you can't run roughshod over us.
Thank you.
Any other questions, please? Don't sit there looking
Feel free to put
smile.
it in the chat or just come off mute.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Again,
All right.
please look at Toastmasters for the information that you're supposed to know when you show up at the district council meeting. And another thing that always baffles me is people show up at the international convention now on Zoom, and they wonder why they can't change what the board put on the floor. Well, it's in policy. You can't. The board put something on the floor. You could either vote it up or down. And you're welcome to speak on it. Now, again, real life story, choose how many times you're willing to speak. There was one year, I believe, we had 12 proposals, and there was one guy who got up and wanted to speak on each one. Well, after the fourth proposal, the audience turned sour on this person speaking. No, oh, he's a downer. Well, he lost his edge. So if there's one, or like there was one I didn't agree with this year, but it didn't make it because of a parliamentary procedure trick that happened. I was not in favor of the last part of proposal F, which was doing away with club committees. Well, if you go back 40 years ago and read the club management handbook, it encouraged every club to have committees for each executive position. So the education vice president had 2 or 3 people feeding that individual information. The membership committee, the public relations committee And basically World Headquarters is saying, well, you can just have an executive committee. You can have the other committees if you want, but they took away the information that supported all the other committees. And I was ready to speak against it. But again, had to vote Proposition F up or down. But since they had that parliamentary maneuver, all the proposals got passed. But I think that was and I did have a chance to speak with the current president of International, who was president-elect in Vancouver, and I asked her, I said, what are you doing, taking away this committee idea with the clubs? Well, we are. I didn't know that. Well, read what you put forward. But I strongly believe clubs should have committees. Like I'm public relations and I got, 3 of my club members on here with me tonight. And I do Facebook. I don't do the other stuff. And if there's somebody else who does the other stuff, please take what I create on Facebook and share it on the social media that you use.
Believe me, we've tried to get him on TikTok.
Rick would be great on TikTok.
He's our education for Revelers.
If you get him on TikTok, we want to know.
Right?
I'll have to do it quietly during a meeting, but okay.
Thank you. Please, more questions. We got to fill the hour, or else, the district director won't sign off here an hour.
Yeah, we have 8 minutes left. Anybody else have any questions, comments, even? Diana.
Yeah, again, Diana, thanks.
So, Rick, your slides were amazing, especially a few of them that were like the procedures and a couple of others. Would you be willing to share those with us?
Sure. Why don't you put your email to me in either in chat or personal chat, and I can send it to you.
I will give it to you.
And or Rick. What we could do is we'll definitely we are recording this, and we'll put it on YouTube, and then we'll also include the slides with it. So Rick, if you want to send it to the slides to me, and then we can distribute
I'm
it
going
to all
to object because Jason said I have to be on TikTok, not YouTube.
Well, he could take
you're going to be on YouTube.
Push it to TikTok.
Yes, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you on Gmail. That that large can go through.
Yes. And I can get it to everybody on this call too.
Sure.
I sure appreciated your time tonight.
Well, thank you.
And I will be joining your parliamentary club.
Okay. Let's see if I can do something.
Is it not, Rick?
It's on a Wednesday night.
Maybe Jason can put that
District 1.
No.
Oh, no. I'm his Monday morning group.
Oh, their Monday morning group.
Yeah. Okay. I'm putting it in chat. And this is our link to get in. There's the meeting ID and the passcode. We meet. Oh, I got Pacific time. There we go. From 6 to 7:30, first Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
And it's the Parliamentarian Club. I will not make it this Wednesday because I will be with Anu on Wednesday night, December the 3rd. District Executive Committee meeting. So, yeah, Laura's shaking her head. Yeah.
Yes. And Laura, so you're going to use what you learned here at that District Executive Committee.
Excuse me, may I please ask a question? I don't know how to put my hand up.
Oh, it's
okay.
under.
Yes, go ahead, Dana.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I use assistive technology and I don't see anything that says put up hand. So what do you do if when you are having an election and there's no opposition? I mean, there's one person for each slot.
Gosh, no, just Monday. I canceled out everything.
Oh,
So
go ahead. Go ahead, Dana.
What happens at the district council meeting? The district director will ask, are there any candidates for this position? If there's only one candidate, basically Toastmasters allows the director to tell the administration manager to cast the one vote for the single candidate, and they are duly elected. You go on to the next position. So you have to go through each position, giving qualified people, the opportunity to put their name forward if they wish. Answer your question?
I thought at the council meeting they did it as a group.
The district director can do that.
Okay.
They can do that. Yeah, there's many ways. What you're trying to do is save time.
Okay.
And like for example, let's assume at this spring council meeting you're going to have only one candidate for all 9 divisions in District 2. Okay, and you would say, are there any candidates for any of the divisions other than the names that have been put forward? If there's none, she could do it as one shot. Madam Administration Manager, please cast the one vote for the list of 9 people, and you are duly elected. If there's vacancies and nobody stepped forward, it's the incoming district director's duty to find a person for the position who will be approved by the fall district council members.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That was easy.
Thank you.
Good.
No,
Thank you.
as I said,
right.
you could do it individually or as a group. Same difference.
Okay.
More questions? And if you check your chat, you'll see how to get at your raising your hand. It's in the chat put by President William Ingersoll from Reveliers.
Thank you.
You can practice if you want.
And
yeah, there
Roberta,
we go.
you have a question?
Well, thank you so much, Rick. It's always enjoyable. For those of you who don't know, when in preparation for the district council or district executive committee meeting, Rick goes through and writes the script for the district director. So our job is just to follow the script as much as possible and not deviate. And he gets on us if we deviate from the script.
And it's sent to you in Word, and you can change the wording if you're more comfortable saying it a different way.
The one question, and not meaning to harp on elections, is that part of the election process for the district is that we do have a district leadership council who goes through and vets all the candidates. And then if anyone doesn't get in on that, they can run from the floor, but they have to announce that they're running from the floor a certain time frame before the election. And so
7 days before.
Yeah, seven calendar days before the election, they have to announce that they're let the outgoing district director.
You only have to let the district director know.
Yeah, the district director know that they're running.
Be a surprise to everybody else.
And usually that person still has to meet, or not usually, they still have to meet all the minimum requirements for running for that position. So when he says, the district director says, okay, this person is running for this position. Do we have any floor candidates? We announce what the floor candidates. If there's no floor candidates, that's it.
Right.
Can just jump on and say, oh, I want to run without being vetted.
Back in the old days, you could. And I'm talking maybe 15 years ago.
I was a person who did that at the encouragement of some other Toastmasters, and I will tell you that is a failed method all the way around. That is not a good experience. And I think proper vetting is really valuable, both to the Toastmaster who's willing to serve and to those who will receive that service, and to the district council, because when you don't really understand what it is you're saying, sure, I'm willing to serve there, but you don't really understand what that position is or how much time that will actually take. And in our state, I live in Alaska, the geography that you might have to cover as a part of that position, it could be disastrous. And in my case, it was. But you quickly find someone better than you and trade places.
when I was on part of the district nominating committee, I would ask to speak first before the candidate was interviewed. I always said, you realize what it's going to cost you, time and money. Oh, what do you mean money? Well, your time is worth money. You spent an hour with me tonight. What would you rather be doing? Oh, but you got to do that hour of enrichment for your 2 hours of club officer training. Okay, but you wasted, I wouldn't say you wasted money, but it cost you money to be here tonight. And what is that worth to you? For each one of us, it's a different amount. We retired folks, well, we just lost an hour's sleep, that's all.
Rick, there is no place else I would have rather have been than with you here tonight.
You're hired. Sign her up.
All right. Very good. We are at time, so I just want to be respectful of everybody's time. So again, like Rick said, time is money. And we appreciate everyone. If you are a club officer, you do get credit for tonight. So Roberta has a wonderful event tracker. So I just put that in the chat. So feel free to fill that out so we can get you club officer credit. And again, Rick, we are so blessed here in District 2 to have you as our parliamentarian. This has been an awesome session. And again, it will...
Roberta, 4 people from District 39 were here tonight.
Well, all they have to do is make sure in the survey that they list what district they're from, so I can send their district.
I'll send you the list. I'll send you the list.
That they receive club officer training.
Rick, you saw that Herb and Kevin were here too, right?
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, they were just, no. All right, very good. Thank you so much, everyone. And again, thank you, Rick. This will live on YouTube for a very, very long time. And we'll also send everybody your wonderful slides. And so now like Rick said, we have no excuse anymore. We have now the knowledge, and we can do much better at our next district council and district executive committee meeting. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you on the 3rd.